Penn State a little bit here, just recapping that one and going to Illinois coming up in here. Offense, last game you guys saw it. Of course, we talked about it to some degree, but again, not very good at all. It's a couple games in a row. Still struggling for sure. Offensive line play and getting a run game going to take some pressure off pass protection, some pressure off the quarterbacks as we move forward. So we got to keep finding ways to pick that up. Running backs, I think, need to get a little bit more yards after hit. I think we kind of a lot of times get what we block, both running and catching. So ability to make a play, make a guy miss, run through some trash, take 2 yards and get 5, keep us on the schedule, those kind of things. 7 drops at wide receiver, very inconsistent out there, which is alarming. It's kind of, it's basically a wasted play, a no-game play. You're going to punt a lot and get off the field when that happens. You get it protected, you make the right read, you throw it to the right guy, and then you drop it. So it's getting all those phases in sync. Our tight ends had a couple catches, but still we can gain run game protections. Quarterback, Dusty played. Ed had a slight injury that limited him. He's practicing a little bit. We'll see. And I know we'll talk about that as we move forward. But we need those 2 guys. And we didn't play Trey. We'll keep working on it. He actually mentally really struggled last week and probably just a little out of whack with some calls and didn't have for him as good a week as he had. Had 2 turnovers. One was very critical to start the second half, put our defense in a horrible situation. Way too many mental errors, loafs. We don't get what we call knockdowns, getting your guy on the ground at all. And it's just not close to an acceptable level of play. So we'll keep working on that. And I have a great deal to do with offense myself, so take that personally as all parts of our program. We got to pick up the offensive end of the rope here. Defensively, we did show some improvement, but it still needs to be better. To sit here and say, hey, we got it figured out and all that stuff. With third down, defense wasn't very good. Had them on schedule the first 3 third downs, 3rd and longs. We had a 3rd down stop where we get a roughing the passer. Had another 3rd and long, let them off the. We got them on schedule with good 1st and 2nd down defense for a change, but let them off with some soft coverage, inability to get a good rush a couple times, letting their quarterback make a few shots on 3rd down. So we need to be better there. I think our defensive coaches would tell you we still have too many loafs and missed assignments, missed tackles over there. We did create 3 turnovers. We are plus for the year on turnover ratio. It's probably one of the games that have been close, even though we've been on the wrong side of the ledger. I think it's unusual to be plus in the turnover margin and still be on the wrong side of victory. Red zone defense was really strong, 3 of 5, held them to 3 field goals. We're not trying to be a bend but not break defense. It can look that way, but that's not our. We don't really talk about that, but it is nice if you make an offense snap it over and snap it over and snap it over. Offenses will typically mess it up if you make them keep repeating it, and I think the defense did a good job of that. Still got to play better run D and get run support. I did think the defense, I think they responded very, very well to some tough situations. We start North Texas, we say we're going to come out and play a good second half, and we throw a pick the first drive, and the defense holds them to a field goal. We talked at halftime. I really felt Penn State would rally, come out and play a strong second half. So we talked to our kicker. We got to get off to a good start. Which way do you want to kick it? When we're swirling, which way do you want to go? We kick it out of bounds. Puts the team on the 40-yard line. It's really your odds of scoring get pushing 50% when you start around the 40. It's high 40% is what it is. So didn't like where we started our defense. So what does our defense do? They go 3 and out. Great response. Offense comes out now backed up with the bad kick, but the offense is backed up. What do? First play is the fumble on a little zone read or a power read play that we're running. What does the defense do? They hold them 3 plays to a field goal. So I appreciate the defense's response to this isn't the card you want dealt to you, but you got to play the card. And I thought they responded pretty good. They kind of rallied late and made a turnover. We're very fortunate where Penn State could have scored. We got them on a turnover late. Did think one of the few times the offense clicked was coming out. We got in a little bit of an I formation and maybe just caught them off guard, and maybe we got lucky. Maybe they missed a line. Maybe they didn't tackle well, whatever, but popped a couple runs. We flipped the field. That was actually pretty good. Defense held them there, created a turnover. Offense flipped it out past the 40. I think we had a negative play that brought us back to the 37 or 38. We punted to them deep, and now as well as the defense has played, we give up a 76-yard touchdown, and we're in double coverage. And we have it's a dead play if it's done. So that's where we got some improvement to make. I think we had 3 or 4 blown coverages that we were very fortunate they didn't hit. They got us on a fake reverse pass one time. They overshot. There was another opportunity where one of our free safeties, one of the hardened guys, young guys in there, just missed getting lined up, and their guy stumbled. there at the end of the first half. It was a touchdown if he hits in stride. So we were very, very fortunate. The teams we play in the weeks to come will be good enough that they'll make some of those plays. So we do need to make some strides there. Lastly, kicking game's been okay, although that kick out of bounds hurt us. We do need to make some strides in coverage. I think sometimes we're getting away with it where kicks maybe aren't getting strong enough, our punter's not punting it to the returner, where I think if the guy could catch it properly, there's some returns that maybe aren't happening, that the punt's landing away from the returner, and it's like the kick is, it's like we're getting away with a broken bat single. You know what I'm saying, if that makes sense. So it's kind of working out, but I do think we got to keep working on coverage, and our returns have been anemic. And so again, close, but again, that was a game that we felt last week that if we played hard, played up to our capabilities, we could have a chance to win, and it's still disappointing that we didn't. So moving forward here, you got Illinois coming in. They are very active on defense, multiple front, multiple coverages, blitz looks. They do a good job of all that stuff. They're strong in the run D, and they get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. So they'll be a tremendous stout. They've been very well tested playing Arizona State. Western Michigan's a very solid passing team, very good and strong in the MAC. They had a great contest last week and a great comeback against Northwestern. So they've been very, very well tested, and they've held up every week. Offensively, equally impressive, if not more. Very fortunate. I know both their coaches, and besides Coach Zook, their coordinators, they're both Vic Koenig and Paul Petrino are two great coaches. They're well led offensively. They're 50 rushes a game. Quarterback can run the ball. Nate Schillhouse is a good player. Big line, three backs. They stick at you as the running game goes. Here comes some play action shots over top. One of the young men had over 260 yards receiving last week. So very complete offense with a strong running attack, athletic quarterback, and big play passing. In my opinion, they're playing rock solid and very deserving of the accolades, the rankings, and that's not blowing smoke. They're well tested, have played good games. Yeah, they've had all 5 at home, but they've came to play every week. They've gotten 5 quality wins. This is game 2 in the Big Ten. It'll be a big challenge for us. So what do you got?
Defensively, do you focus on giving them 19 points in the past game and a half, or do you look at it as we're still giving up 460-plus yards to Penn State? What do you focus on?
Well, again, like I said, I don't think we're trying to be that bend but not break. Stop. We had some third downs, some opportunities to get off the field. We didn't. You know, the offense has got to execute to keep the defense off the field, but the defense has got to execute to keep the defense off the field. So there were some times we had them on schedule, and guys are going to make plays. They're going to make some third downs, but they shouldn't make as many as they did, especially third and longs. We're trying to show the positives that we're creating turnovers. We're not giving up points, but we're also trying to show, I wouldn't say the negatives, but where we can improve and where we need better run support from safeties and backer fits, our D-line, staying sound, staying gap sound, and what's going on. So, again, there's a lot of room for improvement. So that was a nice, better performance, but it's not the standard that we want. It's not what we're looking for, and that's not being disrespectful. We're making strides on that side. I don't think we're making strides offensively here right now, but I think the defense is making strides. But I still think for the standard that we need, short-term and long-term, going to get tremendous challenge this week. It needs to be a heck of a lot better. Does anybody listen to that besides you? Good. Why don't we just talk here and save that radio show time? Here we go.
But it sounded like you were sort of generally happy with him. I mean, how would you characterize it?
Well, I don't know if I'm happy about anything offensively. I mean, he needs to play better, but again, those quarterbacks get all the credit, all the blame, but it's based on the guys around him. I keep saying that. So when you can't run the ball and you get one-dimensional and people are teeing off on you, your pocket's collapsing, you can't see as well, you can't follow through and step through your throws, it's easy to be off target. When your receivers are dropping passes, when you do get it blocked right and you do make the right read and you do deliver the ball on target and drop it. So, I mean, you know, the offense is a function of 11, as is defensive play. We're all a function of 11 guys working together. It's always a little hectic and out of sync, but you got to minimize it. We had way too many mental errors, way too many loafs, guys not playing as hard as they can play, and we basically just showed that as a total group to them. This is you. Do you like the way this looks? Because this is the way this looks forever. This game's recorded and it's finished and it's in the chapters forever. My way of fixing things is we continue to practice hard, and we continue to have a positive attitude and move forward. So if you don't like the way it looks, if you keep practicing in a lethargic way, you're going to play in a lethargic way. So, you know, Dusty did well. Didn't haunt us with negative decisions. I thought, you know, he did a nice job leading us out there. But at the same time, I mean, we need everybody across the board offensively to pick up. And both he and Ed, they both have done well, but they both need to do better as we move forward. You know, he practiced a little bit more yesterday. He just got kind of an ankle sprain there in the fourth quarter. I think it's in the third quarter at North Texas, and you know, played through it, battled through it. But you know, when he came back, it just wasn't very mobile last week. I think last week he threw 3 balls in practice. He did practice yesterday. I don't know if he's full tilt. I think it was to go through the week. He looks good. Looks like he'll have a shot. But that being said, right now, you know, Dusty's played. I don't think it's a controversy as much as one guy's maybe a little bit more healthy. They're both capable of playing well. We'll see how it plays out as we go forward. I don't think the offense changes, so I don't think it's like secret, like, okay, now he plays and it's completely different. We're going to run similar plays with both of them in there, so I don't think like we're trying to hide something from the opponent of who is or isn't going. I think they would look at us as, you know, one throws with the left hand, one throws with the right hand, but it's the same kind of stuff.
Following up on that, like basically the line between Dusty and Ed, you said that Ed separated himself from practice, that kind of thing, in weeks past. Now, he got injured, obviously, in North Texas, and Dusty played. Was there anything you saw against Penn State that maybe closed the gap a little bit as far as
Well, I think the more Dusty, you know, has the opportunity to play, the better you're going to get. Dusty's issue in practices, and you saw it at South Carolina State on a play that was wiped off with a offsetting penalty, was he didn't take care of the ball very well. And the main difference between the two wasn't one had a stronger arm or a better arm, that one could run better than the other, that one communicated the offense better than the other. Just Ed was much better in just taking care of the ball. And again, that's right now. Again, we are plus in the turnover ratio, and we still keep leaving it on the ground 1 or 2 times a game. That being said, Ed has been responsible for the most turnovers with a couple fumbles and the picks he's had. So, you know, the ball's in the quarterback's hand the most. He's the guy that can screw it up the quickest. The difference in preseason, Ed was cleaner as Dusty plays. Again, the more you play, the more comfortable you get, the slower it gets, the more things get off their plate. I think they're both, you know, competitors, good friends. I don't think they fight against each other. I think they push each other, and we'll see how it moves forward.
Speaking of offsetting penalties, have you ever had an offsetting pass interference penalty before?
No, I don't know if I sit around and remember penalties that much. So, I mean, as far as, I remember a bunch of plays. So, but, I mean, just that was a call made I think our defender was not trying to make a play on the ball, and their guy, so just that was a call. It was a call from the get-go, so had nothing to do with the game, no.
Sorry about Ed's injury. What about Jarrell and D'Angelo?
Jarrell's got an ankle sprain. Actually, I thought last week it could have been a crack in his foot or ankle that could have in his deal. He's going to be a couple 3 weeks, you know, before he's back. He's you know, doing run around or actively rehabbing, trying to get back. But he'll definitely be out this game. D'Angelo just got last week, and we don't go full go tackle. In our pro, we changed some things in practice last week too. I think it got misconstrued. We go shoulder pads Mondays, Thursdays, and full pads Tuesday, Wednesday. We just don't scrimmage, you know. But we thump and hit, and just an inside drill against the defense. Jeff Thomas hit him face up, and he just got his bell rung. Had a concussion, didn't pass the test. Did practice yesterday, so he's kind of back. But I don't know if he's a full tilt. And it'd be interesting as he goes. As he did something yesterday, how's he going to be today? Because I think, you know, when you're coming off those deals, sometimes activity makes it maybe regress. Sometimes it doesn't. So I think as we get in tomorrow and Wednesday, we'll see where he's at.
I was going to ask, going back maybe last week to Penn State, end of the first half there, incompletion, Dusty throws it incomplete, Penn State gets the ball back, the chance to score. Nothing really came of it, but I was just wondering, you know, are you trusting your offense, just being aggressive? What exactly happened?
Well, again, to me, when they've got a timeout and you're not running the ball well, you can run the ball to get the clock moving, but they're going to take a timeout. Now, that means they have one less timeout. But in the college game with the chain stopping on first downs, you know, you have a lot of time in offense for 2 minutes. So to me, we need to get the first down. So our deal was right there. We weren't going to try to be greedy and stress us out. But we thought we needed to get the first down, and whether we ran it or threw it, we thought running, we were struggling running the ball. If we ran it 4 seconds, 5 seconds to win off the clock, they had to call a timeout. They would have one less timeout, but they still would have had the ball. And that being said, we just thought the best deal was trying to hit one of our less stress protection, higher percentage throws to try to move the chain to end the house. We needed to get a first down. They had 2 timeouts, and with 2 timeouts, you need 47 seconds or less. because you take a knee, under 40 seconds, you can not, and we got it down to a mathematical science. It's 2:18 running the deal with no timeouts, 2:05 if they got 3, no time. I mean, there's a statistical deal. So we're sitting on 130 something. We just needed to get a first down. They were going to make us punt. We had to get a first. And to me, and that was something Coach Stoops, as a defensive guy, you say all the time in Oklahoma, you got to get the first down. Don't worry about their timeout, because they're, if you give them the ball, just get the first down, whatever you do. So that was our thought. But we weren't trying to be stupid, and we weren't trying to score. We were just trying to get one first down and get out of the half. That was another situation where the defense did bail us out. Another great job by those guys.
Coach Mel talked yesterday about Jarrell talking to the younger safety since he's been out of action. Have you seen that kind of leadership from older guys that have been replaced by some of the younger guys?
Not a lot, and it was pretty good to see, but I will say this, I do think yesterday is one of the first times I think I've seen some guys pick it up. I thought I saw Max, Deb, and Ted Bolger have a little bit better practice yesterday, and talked about that, helping our offense. Give us a little bit more in your energy and effort and enthusiasm in practice. I think defensively, as they're playing a little bit better, you're getting a little bit more out of DJ and Jeff, but it was good, and Doug, actually, as Coach Eckler said, he thought during the game that Jarrell really did a great job. And here's a senior, you're taking one of my games away, a chance to play against Penn State. And that was pretty nice to see. So that to me, that says a lot from where he's came in our time of playing for us, getting that taken away, but stepping up. And we appreciate it. And that was pointed out to him. That's a great question, because we bring him in as a D tackle, and it's where we got him. It's where we're practicing all the 2 days when you're doing the bulk of your teaching, all the work. It's what we thought he was. And of course, we're decent enough with the guys were rotating at D tackle that, he's getting redshirted. I remember the first week and the second week saying, hey, if the guys that we block in practice, Bobby Richardson is giving us a harder time than even your starters. I think he's a good player. As we just looked at our DM productivity through week 2 and 3, I think, very wise on the part of Coach Dearson and Coach Hagan to talk about it. Little unusual. He's still learning. He's going to make some glitches. He still will bust a few things, because it is this call now tells me to do a subtly different assignment at D end than it did at D tackle. So he's still learning. But he made 8 tackles, and I think one of our guys, I know last year I looked at stats from a year ago, I know one of our seniors made 10 tackles for the season that played D end. He makes 8 in his first start. So that's a pretty good showing, and he's got a nice future. We'll keep building on him as you go forward.
Coach, do you think you guys are going to maybe show some things on defense against Illinois that you haven't really shown in the past few games to try and slow down?
Good tackling, proper coverage, staying on top of routes, rushing the quarterback would be some good things to show. These guys, they're good. And when you got a quarterback run game, a little option game, you get some concern, you got to account for him. So it's a different animal back there. And not that, Nathan Shieldhouse is their leading rusher, but they have very good running backs. They'll get downhill. They got a very good fullback, good O-line, big tight end. But there is an option part of their offense to not be a true wishbone. So that, again, defensively, if you'll talk to our defensive guys, you get concerned with what coverages, blitzes, looks you can do, because the threat of the quarterback run, one more animal to defend on the field kind of limits you there. So he's a very unique player, and it looks like, and I didn't study him last year, but I did recruit him. He was at Oklahoma's camp a couple years in a row trying to be a quarterback, and his father played at Iowa with Coach Stoops for Hayden Fry. So I know the family, know the kid well. He comes from a great program. Brandon Shelby, our DB coach, corners coach, from the same high school, and he's got some great qualities, and he's well coached by Paul Petrino. He's developing into being a quality quarterback, because you watch him now, he knows how to set his feet, play with base, play with balance, and you can see him go through reads. So he's very athletic, can make plays with his feet, can make plays on the run, but he's going into being a really solid, good quarterback. He's got a great future. I don't know what he was, but I know he's pretty good now. So to say how much better or worse, but I think he is really, again, he stands in the pocket and he looks like a quarterback. You just watch his feet, the way he sets his feet, his balance, his body control, the way the ball comes out. And again, that's a credit I also know, because I've seen him in person. I know he's worked awfully hard, and I know he's getting well coached by Paul. So I think it's a combination of all parties there.
How much do you try to balance improving that pass rush with also not losing container? Yeah,
you got to keep guys like that in the pocket. But again, I wouldn't say, You know, like for example, Ed has made a bunch of plays kind of run around, although I wouldn't, you know, you would think he's Mr. Scramble guy, he just can take off. I don't think, you know, right now they've got, you know, Nate Shieldhouse trying to be a run around quarterback on third down. He's going to drop back, glance a second, and take off. He's going to go through his progression. He's going to go through his reading. You know, it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes you get so worried, in the way we've been rushing the passer, you get so worried about staying in your lanes, you get in a rush on the quarterback because it's almost like you're running in quicksand. So, I mean, that being said, to me, we got to get upfield and get some edges and get some penetration, distort the pocket, and get him uncomfortable. And it's going to be a challenge because, you know, we've got to do a great job of run defense, getting them in third and longs, because if we get this, if this team plays on schedule, it's a really good offense.
Are you concerned at all about coming with Adam Hines? It doesn't seem like he's been really consistent.
Hadn't been, you know, and I think we've gotten a little bit better protection, although one was close last week to getting blocked. I think our protection's been better. Our snap has been better. So right now, again, I mean, that's, you know, what we've got right now, but it's not been very good, Terry, at all.
I think they're leading Illinois in comments and sacks. Are you seeing that or is there anything that's basically good pressure defense?
I mean, they're good up front, you know, and very active. I think they're very sound in what they do, but if you look at it from an offensive lineman's perspective, it might look junky to you, where they're going to kick into some looks where they're still gap sound. They know what they're doing. They're responsible. They've got it all covered. But you know, they don't just line up in one vanilla look. They make you mentally work as an offensive lineman. Excuse me. They make you mentally work as a quarterback to understand, you know, where your protection issues are, how to kick your protection, how to get rid of the ball. So they have a combination of, you know, a hybrid linebacker type spot where they'll go from a three-man front to a four-man front by just sliding over, covering the guards, and making this linebacker a rush D in, or they kick it into a three-man front. They can walk up some linebackers, get you a variation of Buddy Ryan's bear, you know, 46 defense, what everybody calls, you know, the double eagle bear look. So again, multiple looks, but gap sound. And that being said, too, I think a lot of their sacks is a lot of their coverage. Coach Zook himself, being an old DB, they play a fair amount of challenge man coverage. So, you know, they're making you work to get open. So as it takes you time to get open, it's allowing the rush time to get there. So to me, sacks are a team deal. And again, they got a nice package what they're doing.
You talk about the Hart brothers and kind of what you see from them and what you see as far as promise from them moving forward and saying they get some playing time.
Again, was really disappointed early that Drew wasn't maybe out there a little bit earlier. He didn't have come out of summer in the preseason with the start, because in spring we thought he would be pretty good, and just kind of floundered around. And it was nice to see him get jump started, because I do think he has some ability. They both still graded fair at best. They need to, for what we consider a winning grade defensively, but they did show up. They did make some plays. They did have some busts. A couple of their busts were exploited, and a couple of them they got away with. And again, as you're playing a team like this week, as you're going to play some teams to come down the schedule with some of the quarterbacks we're going to play, we got to be better there. So, but they're both, I think they both play off each other. They're both pretty neat. They're both good kids. It's nice to get them going because they will be a part of what we do in the future. So it's good to see them have a decent start. Nice to see Flo have a pick out the gate. Almost had another one. Again, of the two, even though Drew's the elder of the two, Flo might be a little farther along mentally, physically as the young guy. He's got a chance to be a really good player. No disrespect to Drew. Last one.
You mentioned that Illinois has been rising pretty quickly through the Big Ten and now in national rankings. What do you attribute that to, and is there anything you can take away from that for your team?
Well, again, I mean, all I've got a chance to just to watch, you know, the 5 games this year, truly. I mean, knowing from afar a little bit, I mean, I do think you go back and look at a couple years ago, they make some decisions at coordinator with a defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator, and they got some stability, and they've hired a couple good coaches, and their packages have gotten sound and clean. They've developed their quarterbacks. Their quarterback now is the 3rd year of that system. The O-lines came along. I mean, so, you know, probably a combination of a couple 3 years ago, some leadership choices, a philosophical choice, O&D of what we want to do, and some stick-to-itiveness where they've stayed the plan, stayed the course, along the way recruited some good players, developed some good players. So again, they got, you know, decent size, they got decent speed, and that being said, the schedule is set up where they've played well, they've gotten confident, they've had success, and it's kind of snowballing, and they'll come in as a pretty good football team. So we need to play awfully well this week to get them. Guys, good?
One more. As you move into the midpoint of the season, what does philosophy change as far as playing freshmen at all, as far as balance
Well, you'd hope that, again, it's interesting where games, I mean, I've been in places where week 9 or 10 you pulled someone out, but now you're in the thick of maybe, fighting for a championship and all those kind of things. So as you move forward, you're calculating your risk reward deal. But we played enough. I mean, right now the only issue to me with what's going on is, we've been in some close games, and we haven't played maybe Trey as much as quarterback as we needed to. And we'll keep looking. That's to me the one as we evaluate. But again, we've been in a couple games where it's been a one-possession game, and we got some things oiled up for him every week, and he is coming along in a good way. Although there's hot and cold with some communication performances and practice from time to time. But that's the only thing right now is moving forward is getting him the reps that we need as we move forward. I think the other guys are getting a boatload of plays, and we're using them in special teams. I think the guys we're not playing, probably aren't playing as we move forward unless something just really critical happens. Okay? All right, guys, appreciate you.